So this video ranges over the 6 dives that I completed off of Koh Lanta. It's an insane diving spot, it really is. It's quite cheap as well, and all the dive centres there are really nice. All the dives that I actually completed were around the Koh Haa Islands and its varying dive sites. There are about 6 dive sites or so, and all of them were really interesting and actually very different. Some of it included a cave dive, lots of variations of corals, and an insane variety of actual marine life. Really was interesting. So the corals around Koh Haa are stunning. The variety of marine life is actually insane. The reason I got drawn there was because you do have a fleeting chance to see manta rays and even whale sharks, as well as a load of different species of shark. Unfortunately, we weren't lucky enough this time of year. It's sort of the wrong season for it. Thus, it's better to go late May, early British summertime to get that. But even so, it was a really good little video shoot, and it was very enjoyable. So, as you're about to see, this video also features my first cabin dive. It's very difficult to describe the feeling of going into an underwater cave. It makes you feel insanely small. It's almost overwhelming because you know you can't swim up even if you want to. I do apologise actually because the video is quite hazy, and that's simply because I had to boost the brightness on it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to see what was going on at all. It was so dark in there that we had to navigate with a torch, so that gives you some idea of what we were dealing with. But it was an insane experience, and the video portrays it quite well. So as you can see, the underwater landscape around Koh Haa is insane. It's actually really odd to think that if I hadn't started scuba diving, I'd never get to experience and see this sort of thing. Genuinely, it's so different to how it is above the surface, and if you haven't done scuba diving before, or even if you're considering, then do it. So we also saw a load of lobsters, which was actually pretty sick. You see their antennas sticking out, and they are a lot larger underwater than you'd originally think they are. The antennas range like a 2-meter span. It's quite hard to miss, but they're also quite scary to get near because they tend to lurch at you if you get too close. Another thing that lurches at you are triggerfish, and these are something you genuinely have to be very careful of. They're pretty large. They can reach about a meter long, and they have massive front teeth. And if you get too close to their nests, they will bite you. But Koh Lanta and Koh Haa, the islands around there, they're not too aggressive. But if you go somewhere more popular, like Koh Tao, they are insanely bitey. So beware of that. So we were also lucky enough to see another turtle, except this time I actually got some decent videos of it. it wasn't just me filming it. There was a guy with a very professional camera setup, so I tried to keep out of his way as much as I could. But yeah, the videos I got are actually a lot better than the last one, so enjoy looking at those. He basically just roams around the reef, combing around, eating sponges, that sort of thing. It's very, very cool to film, very cool to watch as he just glides along. Obviously, you can't get too close, but it's a very, very fun experience. So we got very lucky. For the first time, we actually saw a giant moray. These things can grow to like 2.5 meters long. And specifically, giant morays, like many other moray eels, exhibit sequential hermaphroditism. Basically, that means they start their lives as males, and as they get older, they can later change into females. It's basically for population control, but it's quite an interesting concept. It happens in frogs and other amphibians as well. It's very interesting. You do have to be slightly careful, just because of their size. 2.5 meters is a lot, and they have massive jaws. They can be bitey if you get too close to their dens, so it's another one of those that you have to steer a little bit clear of. One of the more fun fish to find on a dive are the various wrasse species in Thailand. They're insanely curious and very friendly. They're also very little, so they like to swim around your fins just as you swim. And they make quite good company for a little while, until you swim too far from their homes, they realise they're a bit lost, and then they swim on back. But it is good fun to have them around, and they're very colourful. The light doesn't show it too well in these clips, but they have all sorts of colours, purples, yellows, reds, and their tail makeup's really interesting as well. So a fish that can be quite imposing to see are giant trevallies. They're the main predators that you find in the waters around Koh Haa, and the larger ones can reach almost 2 meters in length, which is crazy for a fish that schools in groups of more than 20. You look up and genuinely all you can see is giant trevally. They're normally found in more open waters, but they do swim close to the reef when they hunt, and it is actually quite scary. So another common sighting in the waters around Thailand are lionfish. These ones are actually pretty small compared to the Caribbean counterparts, and unlike the Caribbean counterparts, these ones are actually native, and the ecosystem isn't being damaged by them being here. They're very small around here, equally poisonous, equally harmful if to be ingested, but not quite as imposing. So towards the end of the dive, we also actually swung across a rotating mass of parrotfish. They were very close to the surface, like even the snorkelers could see them. So we could only assume they were either mating, spawning, or feeding. You actually get a quick feature from Edie in the video, swimming over the top, so that's always quite fun. So that pretty well sums up my diving experience in Koh Lanta. It's an incredible place to dive if you get the chance. All the people are really friendly, really professional. The dive site's lovely to do. The water's warm and the visibility is great. The next video I'll do will probably be a summary of the 4 dives around Koh Phi Phi. It'll be a very interesting video for you actually because the camera work was improved massively as my buoyancy gets better. We also visited an artificial reef, so do stay tuned for that. It'll be very interesting and a bit of a change of pace from the last 2. And thank you very much. Or even if you're considering it, definitely do it.